Welcome to Center of Light. Hello, beautiful souls. Where's my music? There we go. It's good to see you. How was your day today? Filled with excitement, involvement, evolvement, resolvement. Tonight is Center of Light Exit. The inevitable. No one gets out alive. Break on through to the other side. No one gets out alive. We're speaking about the inevitable aspect of life, death. Tonight is about the dying process or death, the inevitable. It's coming for all of us. Every day we wake up. Every day we live, we die. It's the way of it. Are you connecting, resurrecting, erecting yourself in a beautiful way? Well, I'm going to share something here in a little bit that shows people no judgment, that just simply shows the pain in the world. Again, welcome to Center of Light Exit, the inevitable. Hello, Adana. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Rena. Hello, Dr. KK. Good to see you all. Let me do a couple of things. Always learning. Yeah. Let me increase this. Boom, boom. That should do it. All right, so let's get down to some Center of Light Exit, the inevitable. People are leaving the planet. Some people are taking their time here still for granted. I do as well. We all do. These presentations I do are really for me to expand, because when I get in this moment, in this chair, if you will, it's my release, my meditation to move into integration and further into the levels of graduation. People are exiting the planet. Everyone we know, the older we go, they exit. That's a normal part of the process. We get older, people we know die. I get it. But tonight is really a little something different. And that something different is, hello, beautiful Elaine. And Katie Camara, doctor, says, but we never really die. Never really die. Tonight is a little different. The times we're living in. people are simply just checking out. It's because they're not a vibrational match to the plan, if you will. And every day that turns within itself and expands, we turn within ourselves, hopefully to expand, but some people go into close mode. This will increase. People will begin to die all around you. So get used to it. Welcome to Planet Earth 2022. It's coming for all of us. Every breath we take, we are one breath closer to not having one. Let that sink in. I'm going to do that for me. Every breath we take, we're getting one breath closer to not having one. There is no escape. But there is. It's called meditation. We'll get into that a little later. Birth's intention is to not be born again, and death's intention is to never again die. The intentions of both are the same, to give you every possible chance to consciously unify with all that is. Now, whether or not any of us choose to go along with this program is entirely up to us. Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my bestseller, my most recent release. As always, I'm going to say thank you to Dr. Katie Camara for providing this fundraiser. Thank you. If you want to be a part of the fundraiser, which we are reaching the goal, thank you all. However big or small you have donated and dedicated and resonated with this support of Center of Light, thank you on this beautiful night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're getting there. All right, continuing on. Power. Information is power. Information is power. Creates breakthroughs. Break on through to the other side. Elaine says, I accept one's choices. All is unfolding perfectly for all. Absolutely. Power creates breakthrough, which creates connection to love itself. Hello, Melinda Lane. She says, yes, you are warped by. What the fuck is warped by? I know she means worthy. Worthy. I just had to drill on that for a second. It's very important that you stay internally referenced to monitor your feelings. When I said a little earlier, I want to check something. All right, perfect. What I said a little earlier, that I was going to share something, my thoughts about something that's happening right now, today, and it's going to last for a week, like a hard penis that wants to penetrate reality. And then it's going to not be able to erect itself any longer. It's going to have reached its climax. Pain, pain, pain. I see it everywhere. You probably do as well if you're in this forum. I see it everywhere. Everyone is divided and dividing themselves. People do not realize how they are locking their consciousness into the old world dying dead paradigm. There is an unconscious condition called bandwagon. Be careful of what trend or bandwagon you jump on. In doing so, you become a part of the sleeping consciousness that does things only because everyone else is doing it. This is a mighty trap revealing herd mentality. To take something real or not, here we go. To take something real or not, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock and using it for entertainment, well, the memes are truly out of hand. Out of hand? Pun intended. No pun intended. The reason people are making fun of these horrible situations thank you, Melinda. I knew something like that. The reason people are making fun of these horrible situations is to hide their own inner pain. You are locking yourself into the old world that is dying/dead. World event. Oh, these are my feelings. I get it. You want to share your feelings. It's beautiful. Always share that. But become conscious of why you are sharing that versus jumping on the trend or bandwagon. Well, Keith, it sounds like you being a hypocrite because you're speaking about it as well. No, I'm teaching about it. There's a huge difference. I'm so not engaged into the nonsense and or folly where people simply get their jolly of becoming unconscious. I have my own unconscious aspects I work on daily. Here are some of the memes. And I read almost every one of them today because I wanted to see the level of pain that I feel by such an experience, real or not, but more so how it affects everyone on the social media stream. Facebook and YouTube is full of it and full of shit. One of those memes, and there's a laughing banner behind it. Good thing Chris Rock didn't insult. You ready for this? And the reason people do this is because they are trying to use entertainment, fun. Hello, Pamela. To disguise their pain. People laugh often to disguise their pain. Here's the meme. Good thing Chris Rock didn't insult Alec Baldwin's wife. What the fuck is that? That's your biz, that's your world, live it up, guy or girl, that's your deal. And then here's a new post. It's a picture of Mike Tyson as next year's Oscar host because of the slap felt around the world. Felt around the world. Now here's where it really goes really wonky. Here's another meme. What I'm looking at is a picture of Jada Pinkett Smith. And I'm assuming she's standing next to her open marriage partner. If it's true, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett has that open relationship. That's their sexual business. But someone on social media went out of their way to make it their business as another slanderous insult. And the meme looks something like this, as if Will Smith said this. Will, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. And then August, there's a picture of Jada and her agreed relationship with Will Smith to have someone else in her life. This is the most ridiculous, unconscious, childish, immature shit I have ever seen. Corona did not hit me as hard as this, though many people died. Many people die of the flu every day. Many people die of cancer. Many people die of car accidents. I get all that. This hit me harder because people actually have control over this. And they exhibit no control whatsoever over their own unconscious affairs. And they're poisoning everyone while revealing they're still associating with dying and death. Inevitable it is. Tonight is Center of Light exit. Are you going to exit the old world finally? Because irregardless, I use that word on purpose. Because the inevitable is coming for all of us. No one gets out alive. So you might as well keep your vibration as high as possible, that when you do transition into your next supra conscious experience, that you could get the biggest bang for your no buck. Other than that, no matter what you do for entertainment, you will simply be out of luck. Adana says last night's exhibition was pure nonsense and not worth putting my energy into it. Was it staged? I don't give a shit. Was it not staged? I don't give a shit. I care about the pain that is being revealed in the world. That I do give a shit about. Elaine says, all are abundantly blessed. Have a lovely night. Back at you. There's an event coming, potentially. When we talk about death and dying, that 3 million people in a moment, in a flash of energy, are going to exit the world. There's pain in the world. A lot more to come. Prepare yourself. Don't get numb. Now to the presentation. True meditation tonight is death. Dr. Katie Camara says condescending behaviors of sarcasm for entertainment is cruel and not funny, and I say whatsoever. Tonight is about the transition of death, ironically, which is the greatest gift of life. Back to the source we go. True meditation is deeper than life and death. Sadhguru says, only a person who has lived totally can die gracefully. You see, you go to a convalescent home and you speak with someone who is whatever Methuselah years old. They're ready to go. They had a full life. They're excited. In fact, they just don't want to hang out anymore. They're dying gracefully. Rest in peace. Are we going to rest in peace? Or are we going to rest in peace? Huge, monumental difference. The only thing they share together is that they're both pronounced peace. Rest in peace. Why do people say that once? Let me read this exactly. Why do people say that when once you die? No, Keith, I need to correct myself. There's no grammar here. Why do people say rest in peace once you die? The last thing you are doing when you die is resting. I get it. It's a beautiful condolence. It's a beautiful sentiment. Rest in peace. Whatever it is you're doing, I hope it's beautiful and peaceful. Well, you can bet that when you die, whatever it is, you are not resting. You cross over to the other side. Let's say your belief is Jesus, and you both are sitting on the park bench. You cross over and you realize you're dead, and Jesus is the one to greet you. And you're sitting on a park bench, right? And he's got his arm around you, and he says, hey, you did good this life. Surrounding the bench are a bunch of pigeons. Some lions and some lambs are lying down together, and everything's peaceful, and there's a nice breeze on this beautiful sunny spring day. The flowers are blooming. How long do we sit on that park bench? When you leave this world, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to come to the realization, I've left the world. Depending on your vibration is going to be how you enter the new situation. You're going to have a life review. Then you're going to have an integration process of said life review. You might not be moving around a whole bunch, but you're going to be busy. You're going to integrate this past experience that you have crossed. You see, when you cross, you can, let's say you cross the threshold and you're now into the heaven of the situation. Let's say you've been there in that regard, which no time does exist, but for you, let's just say 5 minutes. 5,000 years on earth has passed. Tonight we're speaking about the inevitable. It is most important, dear Lord, it is most important. If you know that you are going to pass because of you've been in hospice for 6 months, it's most important that if you have to be comfortable and do morphine, opiate, whatever it is to alleviate your physical pain, that's understood. But when the doctors understand and see that you are beginning the transition process, here we go, and the family starts getting called, whatever it is, make sure that with the intuition the medical profession has, that this person is going to pass. You want to release them from all allopathic drugs. You want to take them off of drugs, though it may be painful. Taking them off of any drugs of such to help to not allow one to remain as conscious as possible, even through the pain. Important word in this regard. Because drugging and numbing someone up will drug and numb them to the vibrations that will be offered to them as they exit the body. Rest in peace. Shunya Murdy is going to explain something about when you cross, you will not be resting whatsoever. You will be hyper busy. So busy, in fact, it's going to feel like the mission you have to act upon. And it's per se not really your choice. It is your choice, and you're the one that on that level of reality you're going to choose it. That's why you're going to experience it. You live and die every day. We all live and die every day. Some people want to live holding on to the dead, dying world. That's okay. God bless you. Have fun with it. We've all done this for many lifetimes on this earth, in this place. The universe is infinite. We've done many things for many lifetimes, infinitely, in this universe, in this place. Here's the chance. It seems like however long we live is just simply a glance. It is. Shunya Murdy. Prepare for sudden death. People are dying. Well, they've already been dying, Keith. I know. But the show is about to grow. I hope it doesn't happen, but it seems likely through said unconsciousnesses of what I've been talking about a little earlier. It's going to move the world. It's going to move a lot of people. No one likes death singularly, but it hits us harder because it's a bigger impact when it's collectively. Well, we need to prepare for sudden death. Shunya Murdy. See you shortly. Center of light, exit.
The reason for the next retreat that is on the subject of Amrita Shakti. Now, Amrita, as everyone knows, is the nectar of immortality. And in this time of sudden death, in which many people are falling over in the middle of soccer games and concerts and other situations that are all, I'm sure you have read on the news, and that are increasing day by day, the capacity to prepare for death and to reach the deathless state before the body dies is of extreme value and importance. And so it is the secret of immortality that is to be passed to all of the participants in this retreat. And those of you who have studied here long enough to have a sense of all the spiritual traditions, you will know that the Taoists were very famous for their immortals, and immortality was the chief goal of the Tao, which is why the writing of the book on the Tao now is also relevant to this retreat, and I'm hoping that the two will be ready at the same time. But you know, this idea of immortality and salvation from the realm of death is what all religions and all spiritual paths are about. But how do we make it practical that you attain your immortal self and abide in it long enough to let go of the illusion of mortality and the attachment to the mortal body, so that your consciousness, which has the potential for immortality, is actualized before the death of the body? It is the immortality of consciousness that is so important. And of course, this then leads us into the question of why we're studying the Bardo Thodal, the Book of the Dead of the Tibetan Buddhists. But this retreat on Amrita Shakti will take us deeper than the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And so I want to emphasize that the Book of the Dead is what I would consider one of the outer teachings of Tibetan Buddhism. You know, they categorize the teachings in three levels. There are outer teachings, inner, and secret. The secret teachings are, of course, the highest, the most, let's say, direct and focused on being given only to those students who are ripe, who have their hair on fire and they're ready for instant enlightenment. And it gives the formula for instantaneously liberating yourself from the illusion that you're a mortal being and subject to conditioning and to cause and effect and to any of the events that might have happened in the past. But you are always free, absolutely free. And when you understand that and claim your freedom, there is no obstacle that can detain you. Nothing can hold you back, because it's the supreme power that you wield when you realize who you are as a manifestation of the one infinite intelligence that is dreaming all of this and evolving it and withdrawing it now back into its source. So before that happens, we want to attain continuity of consciousness through the apparent process of transitioning from life to death, so that that immortal mind of the self remains present and aware through the eye of the needle, through the cosmic death into the rebirth of a new world, and becomes part of the creative intelligence that is responsible for that redreaming. It's an enormous gift and privilege to be not only present at the creation, but to be a principal aspect of the intelligence that projects the beauty, the goodness, the love that has been gained through your own process of experience and wisdom through many lifetimes, many lives and deaths, to be able to have the fermented nectar of immortality to then offer into the world configuration that will be born as a world of immortals, in which death is no more, even as an illusion. So this transitional moment that we are in is the most auspicious moment throughout the entire cycle of time. And this is the moment to ferment the nectar and have it ready to offer to beings who are alive in their bodies now, and also to prepare those avatars who will come into their immortality in the next cycle of time. So the retreat is to make you not only able to drink the nectar and realize your immortality, but to produce it, to brew it, to ferment it, to be able to have an overflowing supply of it to offer to everyone. So we think it's very relevant, especially as more and more people are waking up to the fact that they may have taken in a poison which creates a situation where the clock is ticking on their lifespan, even though that's the case for everyone always anyway, but it becomes far more obvious and real to those who begin to feel symptoms of the body's beginning to lose its vitality and its capacity to function, who will in those situations become very serious students of this process of wanting to become immortal and pass through that moment of death in a way that will not lead to either a hell realm of subconscious fantasies that have not been processed and released, or even to some benign bardo state that will be a temporary respite before one has to come back and complete the process of gaining one's true nature, which is that of immortality. So we hope that this retreat, because of its relevance, will attract all of those who are awakened to the nature of the times that we are passing through at the end of this cycle, and to take advantage of this offering and not waste the opportunity that is being given to gain freedom from the dread and terror of mortality and sudden death that is now a fact of life for nearly everyone on the planet.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Good to see you tonight. Tonight is Center of Light Exit. Out of here. It's happening by the, my God, everyone we know, everyone we love in our lives, intimately, or not so intimately, but globally and collectively, we intimately love, be it there in the movie realm or the entertainment realm. Entertainment realm, we've been talking about entertainment. I get entertainment. We all get entertainment. When I was listening to the Shun Yumurti audio bite, paraphrase, the more we see that this is a play of God, this whole thing, the whole thing, everything that's always been, is now, or will ever be, is a play of God. It's called Leela, divine sport or play. Those things I've been describing earlier are simply just going to dissipate. They no longer interest you. And yet, with that, we're no longer afraid and or entertain such things we've been talking about earlier with this nonsense in the world on media. And yet, with that, we're no longer afraid and or entertain pain. Entertain. That's the right word. Entertain. I understand entertainment, but the word entertain simply means I'm giving it credence. Other than just simple entertainment, it becomes idolatry. That you get lost so much in the folly of it all that you take a lot of time or any time out of your day to post and fakely, falsely laugh. It's the dismay in the world, real or not. Shunya Murdy also said, the hell realm when we die, you never die. When we die, the hell realm, if such a one believes, like some of those things I described. Because when you're simply not interested in bullshit, when you are interested in bullshit, hell realm is a possibility. Go look on Facebook. It's everywhere today. Go look on YouTube. It's everywhere today. The hell realm that is initiated, the unconscious fantasies become possible. When you leave this world, if you're such a one who believes in a world that is completely destroyed, it's over, it's dead, it seems like things are declining, but they're inclining. Do we have the inclination to move into integration and graduation? I'm just no longer simply interested in entertainment. Well, I am interested in entertainment, but I'm no longer interested in entertaining things beyond entertainment. Video number 2. This is a Shunya Murdy night. Tonight is center of light, exit. No one, not a single one of us gets out of here alive. In is the way out. People say, rest in peace. I love the sentiment and the belief in the heartfelt place behind that. When you leave this world, you are not resting. You are ever more busy, hyper busy. Shunya Murdy video number 2. Rena says, I love it. Yeah, I'm with you, sis. The video I played of Shunya Murdy just a bit ago was prepare for sudden death. Prepare. I get it. The world is submersed in absolute pain. Kelly says, I'm having a rough time. Kelly, you know how to find me. Let's talk. I want $1,000. I want nothing from you but your joy. Contact me, Kelly, if you need. Shunya Murdy, video number 2. We talked about prepare for sudden death. There's an event, or at least a potential. Swamiji said, yeah. It's still, no matter who says it, Jesus Christ, Swamiji, Paramahansa, Yogananda, Buddha, Krishna, Anandamayi, it does not mean it's going to happen, even from such prophetic ones. It means on the course, the target we are moving, at least from any said point, this is likely to transpire. It could change overnight. It could change in a moment, a holy instant. That 3, give or take, million people are going to exit this world. How painful does that sound? It sounds very painful. But you see, none of us want that to happen. But it's all, quote, destiny. People have karma to complete. Many people who come here from third world countries to show us what starvation and third world hunger looks like are our greatest spiritual master teachers. Gets us out of the bleachers to stand up and cheer for a new ball game. Well, there's a new ball game being ensued. A new game is starting. Many people are departing. Hear me. Get used to death. Many people see death as such a thing. Life and death as such a thing. I was born. My child was born. So-and-so was born, and they're dear and near to me. I understand it. We go through life, and then we die. And when I die, when other people die, we go into grief. Good grief. I hope I never experience that with anyone, but I do. It's going to sting, not intended to, but the reality does sting, which is the grieving aspect of someone exiting center of light. Everything's backwards. Center of light exit. The inevitable. The sting is when you get that phone call. I understand it, but it's not real. And that grieving process is for us, not for them. We're mad. We go through these different stages of anger. Disbelief, regret, anger, all these different levels of, but it's coming. Ironically, death is the greatest expression of life. It's the giver of life itself. Not only the people that have left the world, when we leave the world, we wonder, or we think we're going to wonder what they think of our exiting. You're so not at that level. When such event transpires, you're just not. You don't think that way because you're no longer in the thinking, monkey mind, unless you're truly lost in the world, your last world, and there's no escape. Then this thought process is going to be repetitious. And then we're reborn again. Well, you can call it reborn again, but it's a repeating of the cycle again. Shun your Murdy. Stick around. And this presentation or this audio bite from Shun Your Murdy is what I said I was going to do earlier about rest in peace. I get it. It's a beautiful sentiment. But truly, we don't rest. You are ever more hyper busy. After death, you will be very busy. Shun your Murdy.
There has to be the realization that you're not the ego. Otherwise, you can't make the choice because the ego won't make it. The ego is the bardo. And so you have to free yourself from being trapped in thought forms that are impinging on you and trying to determine you to remain small and limited and localized and under the control of the superior forces, superego, etc. And because of your loyalty to that structure, you are not making the choice to free yourself. So the loyalty to a given identity, in part the fear of the unknown. If you're not this, who are you? There's just emptiness. And so you have to be able to go through the emptiness to find the light and then realize who you are. But if you don't make the choice to be disloyal to the voices in your own mind and the identity that tells you this is who you are and you have to do this, this, and this because we told you so, the old parental command system and all of that, if you don't free yourself by realizing there's a higher law, a higher power, a higher meaning, then that will keep you trapped. So it's really your own love for the ego that is the cause of your suffering, that is causing you to not make the choice. That's why the soul has to be extracted sufficiently in meditation through silence to be able to make the choice when the ego mind is not impinging on you and keeping you in a hypnotized state of belief that you are its thoughts.
I have a question actually from that. Like, is it in the depiction in the film and in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is that the entity that's navigating its way through these bardo states, is that the soul, or is that some entity between ego and soul? It seems very particular.
Yeah, it's different at different phases. When the Annamaya kosha is first left, the entity that is swirling around in this plane is the pranamaya kosha. That becomes the vehicle. And it can be detected. It's electromagnetic energy, and there are people who can see ghosts, and you can feel their presence. I mean, they're very palpable. At the next phase, you go into the manomaya kosha. then you're in pure mind. Now you're in bardos that are much more subtle, and your form will shift like they were trying to depict it, as it will in a dream, and you can have any different form. And then beyond the monomai kosha, if you get beyond that, then you're in the archetypal realm, and then you're with the gods and the goddesses, but also the monstrous archetypes, etc. But it's now it's a whole different superhuman level of reality. If you can get beyond that, then you enter into the light. But as they were saying, you can get caught in a light that is not the highest light, but is one that will take you into a temporary bardo where you'll feel like a god, but you'll end up going back. And so you have to go all the way through the emptiness, beyond that light, to the absolute, where there is no duality any longer. So there's no one then choosing. You are the source that you've been drawn to. But if you take the gradual path through these, you have to go through all 7 bodies. And that will include the Sutratma and the Mahasutratma. You'll travel the universe. You'll see your past lives. You'll be aware of the whole karmic trajectory, but you don't want to be caught up in that and then have to just take another life in accord with that trajectory. So you have to use your free will at every level to keep going beyond and not settling for that as if that was who you are.
Welcome back to Sin of Light. Good to see you tonight. We've been speaking about the inevitable exit for all of us, singularly, collectively. Many people wiped out. Hurts, I understand. Listening to Shunyamurti in his last delivery, I understand for many people who may watch this presentation. Everything he said sounds good on paper. It sounds great in theory. These are fanciful ideas of what he believes. In fact, they're entertaining ideas. No. He is living this reality. Swamiji, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Paramahansa Yogananda, Ananda Mahima, Sai Ma, these people live this reality. Such a level of spiritual principality. Teachers of this magnitude do exist beyond the realm of Bardoism, death. They're here on the earth to bring about life in all of its forms, beyond what we think death is and life is. Death, someone I care about died. That is it, but it's greater than that, much greater than that. It's the resurrection, the turning over of life within itself over and over and over. And when we become masters of said masters, that's a big word. Let's at least reduce this to just the willingness to understand that this is all simply a play of the divine. We will no longer have an interest in that which we find entertaining, real or not. I get it. It pulled me into it. The whole Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. It's entertaining, real or not. Speaking about it, to be part of a trend or to jump on the bandwagon, that bandwagon will take you nowhere except into a dumpster on fire. The bandwagon's crashed. That world is dead. Have fun, all you like, I'm done with that world. Doesn't make me better. It at least validates to me my desire to become ever more conscious. Because you see, your consciousness can never die. It's immortal. But most importantly, ironically, when we entertain our mortality, I am going to leave this world. It makes all moments ever so precious. Video number 3, Shunya Murdy. And then I'm going to come back from my presentation tonight, from this segue. Center of light, exit. Nobody gets out of here alive. Great potential coming. Be prepared for what we call death. But it always brings about birth. When we come back from this audio entertainment from Shunya Murdy, I'm going to read you some script from Homecoming: Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my most recent book. If you're interested, you can find it in this room somewhere. Melinda Lane, always starting trouble. She says, slap, slap, take it back. I want to tell you something. Yeah, I'm going to read you some dialogue from my conversation with Spirit from 1997-ish. So first, with Shunya Murdy's audio presentation was called Prepare for Sudden Death. The one we just left was After Death, You Will Be Very Busy. Very busy. You don't rest in peace. I understand the condolence, the sentiment. But you are now hyper busy. You can bet on multi-dimensional levels, from the core of who you are to beyond your senses, your 5 senses. When you go to the other side, you can see. How can you see if you don't have eyes? And you hear the music of the spheres, the angelic sounds. How can you hear if you don't have ears? How can you feel the bliss you're going to feel if you don't have a nervous system, right? It hyper expands into beyond anything we can ever begin to entertain. Shunya Murdy's presentation tonight. Prepare for sudden death. After death, you will be very busy. And now we're moving into his audio bite of fear of death. I asked a guest of mine at Center of Light Radio many years ago. He's an expert at the process of death. I asked him, some people have an anxiety, I understand that. But the majority of people, you would think that when you become 70, 75, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82 years old, that, oh my God, it's going to come ever so soon. We're giving such grace that we don't feel that way. Whether you're in the space of, I'm grateful for another day, even for those who don't live that way, we just wake up. So we're always giving grace to buffer the fear, the self-induced one that chooses to suffer. Wow. Fear of death. We're not a fear of death. We're not a fear of death. We have fear of regret or fear of change. Change, my friend, is the only thing that will never change. You can change your mind at any time you choose.
Meditation is the process of making friends with death. The ego is the enemy of death. It's afraid of death. And it experiences death as an event horizon, as an event which ends its existence. But the yogi recognizes that death is not an event, but a passage to a state of eternal life that transcends the duality of life and death. And once one has passed through that event horizon, then what happens in the phenomenal plane is no longer something that can be taken with the same seriousness. It will no longer be approached with the same desperation and fear and flight from the inevitable. But then one joins God in the recognition that this is Leela, the cosmic play. And that the event of death is simply one move in that game. But the game transcends any particular moment or scenario, or even cycle of planetary existence. The game has far greater stakes than anything the ego can imagine playing for. The ego can't even get into the game. It doesn't have enough capital to get into the real game until it has passed the barrier of death. Because the capital involved in playing the game of life is love. And true love cannot be attained until one has passed through the fear of death. Because until then one will be grasping, one will be holding on to the other for security, out of desperation, rather than giving out of the fullness of the peace that passeth understanding, because it passeth the understanding of the ego's recognition of its true being. And therefore it's trying to make up for that lack of the fullness that transcends biological life, and to try to grab as many crumbs of pleasure as it can before it goes down. But each crumb becomes an indigestible piece of suffering. And when one fasts from those crumbs of pseudo-pleasure that are an attempt to flee from death, then one can sit at the banquet of God and experience the delight of peace, serenity, equanimity, luminosity, and liberation from all the egoic urges and drives and games and pathologies, vexations that disturb our lives. So we make friends with death, and when we do that, we realize the truth of one of the yogi's names for God, which is Mahakal, the great death. It's one of the names given to Shiva. And this name really means the death of death. There's a poem by a Western poet, I think it's John Donne, who says, "O death, thou shalt lose thy sting." Right? But how? When we realize that death is actually the kiss of God, not a sting at all. It stings only the ego, that we may be released into the truth of our being. And so when we are meditating, we are practicing dying through letting go. And through silencing the mind. But because the ego mind is in flight from death, if we are going to reach death, we have to give up our fear of it and transform the fear into love for the very thing that the ego fears most. And that's why the first commandment in every religion is, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy might." But the ego can't love God because God means death. The ego is terrified and in flight from the very source of salvation. But when the ego turns with love to that source and is willing to die into silence, then the flow of love from the very source of our being becomes a wave of tremendous force, tremendous power that washes over us and through us and permeates our being and dissolves the ego and all of its fears at one moment. And this is the act of grace. But it won't happen, because God is merciful, until we're ready for it to happen, until we wholeheartedly desire to dissolve in this love that is the only force that can redeem our essence. And if we one-pointedly hold the silence, either as an act of love for God, or if one is not in a dualistic mindset and one doesn't have belief or faith in God, and it's not an outer God somewhere else but the source of our being, if one can turn within and ask, what is the source of my being? Who am I really? Then, with the devotion to the very question itself, even if there is no love, but the devotion to truth, one will reach the same place. The love will make it an easy journey, whereas the desire for it at the level of truth will require more willpower. But if there is sufficient honesty and courage to face the truth of what we are, and the emptiness and the lack behind all of the false fronts of the ego, we'll reach the same place without any belief, without even any faith that there is something to reach, as long as there's complete honesty. But the good news is that as one faces the unknown, the great mystery within, with or without faith, as one opens to whatever is the truth, the power of that love will be felt within. It will wash through us whether or not we have belief. And the luminosity will liberate us from all the bondages of the ego.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight is Center of Light. Exit the inevitable. We're all going to exit. No one gets out of here alive. To summarize, oh my dear Lord, what Shunya Murti just said. Summarize. I love these breaks because I get these epiphanies. And that's for me. The ego's beautiful. Divine ego's great. I, me, you, we are we. The ego, meaning the monkey mind, is based upon our opinions that was instilled in us of how to believe things about the world. That's all. That shit's gonna die in the fire of eternal worship, devotion. The ego can't love God because God is death. And in transforming that, transcending this belief, model, idea, curse, generational curse. You can cuss all you like. It's the death of death. It's the death of death when we transcend this paradigm, this old world that we, as I said earlier, entertain. Death, as Shunya Murti describes it, experiences it. Death is the kiss of God. It's not a sting at all, depending on who you are. My mother passed. It didn't hurt. I loved love my mother, love that she somewhat envious, that she's now on the, quote, not other side, but on the deepest level of being inside of herself. Death is the kiss of God. God is life. That's why you would kiss. Giving a French kiss, all tongue. It's not a sting at all. When we are in meditation, we are practicing dying. What? Shanyamurti, when we are in meditation, we're actually in the practicing of dying. From homecoming, crossing the bridge to the soul, my most recent release. My dialogue with Spirit all those years ago, 1997. Spirit starts off. You have the free will to align yourself with the good, the perfect, the infinite. You also have the free will to listen to your ego ramble on. But if spiritual liberation is what you truly desire, then you have to reach beyond your perception's grasp, that which we entertain for simple enjoyment. Beyond the practical, beyond the rational. For your heart to burst open. Oh my God, I love that. For your heart to burst open, you have to strive for the unfathomable. Love yourself as I do, Keith, and everyone, and expand. While you grow, for as long as it takes, and when you are ready, I am here. So relax and enjoy your stay on earth. And I respond, okay, I will. Because I really enjoy living here. Spirit continues. Yes, I know. And if you want to continue to indulge in your humanness, to not come home right now, go right ahead. Believe me, you will have another crack at it. And so will many others who are not completely finished with their spiritual development. But let me remind you that your karma must be resolved in order to stay. And I say, I want to come aboard your train to Ascensionville, all right, but something inside me something inside of me still makes me feel I don't deserve such liberation. Why do I continue to carry around this guilt when I know how completely useless it is? There's a part of you that still believes that you are due some punishment for your bad actions. It is also that which holds you back and makes you feel unworthy. When you feel this way, and I interrupt and say, pardon me, I don't mean to interrupt, but sometimes it seems as though two entities are fighting over me. Life, death, spirit, ego. What's so tough is that I don't know which to listen to, because when I reflect on the things I've done, sometimes that guilt kicks in. Other times I say to myself that I will rise above it when push comes to shove it, basically, and do better. And I ask this very honest, beautiful question of myself, Spirit. What can I do to be more consistent? Spirit, higher self, that which is within me and within you, within we. As I was going to say before you stopped me, Keith, is just keep on praying and meditating. And I say, but I do both every day. Do you pray and meditate about this ongoing struggle of yours? And I say, hardly ever. And Spirit so cleverly responds, well, there you have it. Look, I absolutely know what it's like to live in duality, because I've watched all of you as you make your choices and then have to deal with their consequences. I know it is not easy, but the truth is that these are your choices. Listen to these most amazing choices we all have. No joke. You can live by Spirit's guidance or by human rationale. You can live in trust or live with anxiety and depression. You can choose universal knowledge or planetary ignorance. You can invite peace and love into your heart, or you can hold anger and fear in your gut. Dear ones, the duality that troubles you can end at any time because you have already evolved enough to realize how much judging yourself the way you sometimes do has blocked your path to wholeness. But it is not only you, Keith. Most of the world lives in judgment. There are individuals who cast judgment upon groups who cast judgment upon other groups who cast judgment upon themselves, individuals who cast judgment upon other individuals, and individuals who cast judgment upon themselves. In all of this judging, I ask who is right, and I respond, capital exclamation point, I wish I knew. Judging this and judging that. If I were a judgmental God, as many claim, I would judge you for judging and do away with all of you. Then no one will be left to judge. And then I respond, why do we judge so much? Is it so we can feel better about ourselves? Of course it is. But there are more reasons as well. Many judge because they feel, keyword here, feel, not think, but feel. Thinking is the beginning aspect of what I'm moving into this point. But the feeling begins the solidification process. Many judge because they feel they have to peg irresponsible behavior in others as a way to detach from their folly. In other words, what's being said here is, I'm not judging you. I'm saying you're acting this way and I want no part of it. They're basically just calling a spade a spade. And then there is the big one. People who think that they must judge someone else's way of life on my behalf as if they know who I would save and who I would toss away, like yesterday's newspaper. My God. I find it quite amusing when people assume that I share their opinions. If I were to use right and wrong as my means of judgment, I could find so many reasons to preserve some of the so-called bad and discard some of the so-called good amongst you. Indeed, I could find enough reasons to discard the physical universe altogether and to start all over again. Just one tap of my delete button and that would be that. But what would be the point of such a judgmental approach? And I say, you're asking me? And Spirit says, yes, you, Keith. Why not? And I say, but I thought that you were one with, this is integral. And I asked Spirit in this meditation many years ago, but I thought that you were the one with all the answers. And Spirit says, another belief. Keith, earlier I said there are no questions. Now I'll say there are no answers. How can there be? Question and answers are the same. Either both exist or both do not. I live in the do not. You live in the do. And I say, you've got to be joking. And Spirit says, now that you mention it, knock, knock. And I say, oh no, you're not going there. And I say, oh well, I'll bite. Who's there? Spirit says nobody. And I say, what's your point? Perhaps there is no point. And that's what makes the joke, this divine play, this Leela, so humorous. And I say, oh, I see what you mean. That's why you find it so amusing when people judge, because there is no point to it all. Bingo. And you said that you don't want to play my game with me. And I say, I do. I see that you have gained some enlightenment from my attempt at humor, Keith. So now that you understand that if there is no knock knock, there can not be any light bulb moment. And that is no joke. The point is to not take life so seriously, to let go and have a good time, to laugh even when the joke is on you like it is now. The joke was on me. in this dialogue. Only those who have no sense of humor have a hard time of getting life's joke. That the meaning of life is the meaning you give it. Get it? I got it all right. I mean that I think I've been got. Okay, as they say at rehearsal, one more time. Same joke, but this time you start it. And I say, okay, knock, knock. And Spirit says, who's there? And I say, Keith. And Spirit says, Keith, who? And I say, I'm confused. Darn, you got me again. Maybe, and until you do get it, whatever that may be, I await your response to life's ultimate riddle. There's a lot more dialogue here, but so much. I'm going to shorten it up. Tonight has been Center of Light Exit. The inevitable. Not only are we all dying, we're all living. It comes down to living consciously. Consciously. Life, death. The intention of life and death are both the same, to give us every possible chance to unify with eternity. Spirit says, do you feel that you deserve love now? Will you accept it? Will you show yourself mercy as I am posing these kickstart questions to get you to entertain and move through your lingering fear about God before that inevitable day, so that you can avoid repeating the same mistakes in your next reality? Because even though you may have some residual belief in a judgmental God, I assure you that judgment does not exist in me. I say to all of you, whosoever continues to hold on to judgmental beliefs will find their lives filled with needless effort and wasted energy. Your precious time on earth will be spent in slavery. Listen, my children of eternal light. You are embodiments of the divine. You are repositories of never-ending bliss. Your hearts are shrines to the divine. The whole of nature is your playground, and all things in it are your playthings. Regard yourselves as free, as masters of the universe. You're not going to die. You're going to live eternally. I understand when people leave our entertaining space. In such a way, we're showered with the grace of someone I care about. I can no longer see. They become invisible. There's a beautiful possibility that happens. But how long do we grieve? When do we leave the illusion of death aside and begin to live and understand, stand under something that is inner and inner only? You have never been born, nor will you ever die. You're here now and will always be in your here and now forever. Becoming conscious of the here and now is the bridge to the soul. I may lose this body. That's not correct. You will lose this body. Then you will gain the garment of the collective earth Gaia body. Then you begin to don the solar body, the galactic body, the cosmic body, the Christ body, the God body. You, my friend, look just like me and I look like you. Together we will redo all that we are due, which is living in the gate. Don't be late. The gate will close. I love you. Tomorrow night, Center of Light. Unicorns, basically. I exist. I will see you then. I will persist as you do in this mission. The whole world is waking up. It's waking up. Many are going to sleep, and in such contrast, it reflects to all of us who choose consciously to wake up. I will see you on the shore of forever.